Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our my edition of the 2025 kickoff. And hey, I just wanted to mention I think that the call yesterday I was able to be on it. Kim and I had a 10:30 appointment, to kick off our financial 2025 year. But we were able to listen in the car. We were able to listen to a lot of the call yesterday with Matt Rutledge and Johnny Brooks, and wow, that's really all I can say is wow. I mean, we were, matter of fact, Kim, we were riding. Our appointment was about 45 minutes away, and we were riding to the appointment, and Kim had just made a couple of comments, and I'll tell you guys, my wife, I mean, since 1993, we started sitting in meeting rooms. We started learning this thing called success. And so she's been around a minute, you know what I'm saying? And but she made a couple of comments yesterday about the call, about as far as how awesome it was, and just the quality of it. So thank you so much, Johnny and Matt, for what you poured in yesterday. Definitely looking for more of that in 2025. We've also got other leaders that are stepping up, S quadrant and B quadrant, and as a matter of fact, two that are on the tip of my tongue. You saw Right Business yesterday, and that's Lisa Kurtz and Casey Gregory. So congratulations to you guys for getting your 2025 kicked off really, really well. So today, hey, so I'm gonna ask for some grace today, just because I'm going to cover, like, I've got like I've got three actually, maybe four different topics. And it's all about kicking off the year 2025 in what I think is the right way. So my goal this morning is to take all of the information, all of the good information that I feel like I've gotten, since I was 25 years old, 1993. And I'm gonna give it to you. So if I say something that offends you, I'm just gonna ask for that you give me some grace on that. My goal is not to offend today, but there is a certain segment that I'm gonna get to today as far as managing proper expectations. And as a matter of fact, it just reminded me of a note that I want to cover with that as well. So I'm gonna write that down. So I'm gonna cover a section today as far as managing your expectations and making sure that you know the exact industry that you're involved in. I just think sometimes even people that it's not their first day, they've been in it a minute. I'm just like, I just wonder, like, do they really know what success is in this industry? So I'm going to cover that. And again, my goal is to not be offensive. But it is to get out information that's going to allow you to create proper expectations. So let's start off with something fun, and that is 2025. Happy New Year. People set their goals, people, make New Year's resolutions and all this stuff. But I want to dive into what is the science? What is the truth behind why most people don't achieve their goals or their New Year's resolutions, no matter how, you start off and it's like, man, I'm going to do this. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to lose this weight, or I'm going to go write this business. I'm going to make this money. I'm going to improve my relationships. So no matter what the intention is, why is it that they actually have a day, 2 weeks out that's, what's it called? Quitting Friday or quitting Saturday or quitting Monday, whatever it's called. All I know is that the majority of people that start out with good intentions to reach a certain goal, most don't. Most fall by the wayside. So scientifically, what is the problem there? Well, here's the problem. Success, or not success, but self-discipline. Self-discipline is an exhaustible resource. Okay, just take a second to internalize what I just said, because it's the truth. Self-discipline, whether you think of yourself as disciplined or not. There's some of you guys, you think of yourself, I live a disciplined life. Okay. And then there's some of you guys that go, I wish I lived a disciplined life, right? But self-discipline is an exhaustible resource. So no matter how strong we start off, it does tend to fade. Okay. The secret to success, best I can tell through good quality books. Okay. And when I talk about books, matter of fact, I'm going to end today just by talking about some truths that I read in Proverbs today. Okay. And hopefully that won't offend anybody. But best I can tell, the secret to success is creating a success consciousness. Okay. In the Bible, it starts out with think on these things. Okay. And some of you guys, you can recall the verse. Okay. If you can't, no problem. Just go look. But the secret to success. Okay. Now I'm going to revert to a man-written book, Napoleon Hill, in Think and Grow Rich, Master Key to Riches, James Allen, As a Man Thinketh, Millionaire Mindset, T. Harv Eker. These are some awesome books. Flip the Switch is another book. The Ant and the Elephant is another book that I'm thinking of. So these are the books that I've read throughout the years. And best I can tell, the secret to success is this. It's creating a success consciousness. Okay, here's what that means. If you wrote that down, okay, the secret to success is creating a success consciousness. So what that means is, and if you want to look more biblically, okay, it could be creating this mindset that you live in faith. Okay, it's what I'm referring to when I say success consciousness. It is the exact same thing. Okay, because what you're doing, you're creating a success consciousness. You're choosing to. The biblical definition of faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So what does that mean? That means that creating a success consciousness, we are not trusting the things that we see, the things that appear real right now, because the things that we see are always changed by the things that we can't see. The things that we tend to see change every day, for the good or bad, change every day by things in the unseen, mostly faith or fear. So if fear is driving you, and I'm talking about an unhealthy fear in this, if fear and anxiety are driving you, then typically that unseen is going to change the scene in very negative ways. Okay. Creating a success consciousness and creating this mindset of faith and being in faith. And basically, the symptoms of that is you're having unbelievable positive expectation that the universe is transpiring around you for your good, right? It's like good things are coming. I'm sowing seeds. I'm the farmer. I'm out sowing seeds and I'm tilling my land and I'm weeding and putting fertilizer and all this kinds of stuff. And man, I tell you what, I'm going to have an incredible harvest. So this success, creating this success consciousness, I'm just telling you guys, it is the secret to success. And so for me, what it looked like, and I'm not going to dive into this today. Matter of fact, I'm probably never going to teach this again. I used to teach it all the time, but it just never really had the effect that I thought it would have had, but it did for me. So it's one of those things that it's like in the golf swing. I was talking to a buddy of mine recently, and I said, you know what, you keep telling me your thoughts on the golf swing, but my thoughts, my feels are very different. Okay, so, but for me, faith, living in faith and creating a success consciousness came down to WSP. Let's see if I can remember those letters. It's work, speak, pray, tithe, fast, expect, draw my group out. I don't know if I'm going to do them in the exact order, but it's work, me, it was making sure I was working, massive action. Okay. There's never any excuse for no massive action. If you're not taking massive action, you're not in faith, and you don't have a success consciousness. Okay. Probably the very opposite of that. Speaking, the power of words, and the fact that I was created in the image of my creator. Speaking words, creative power comes out of my mouth because I'm able to speak things that are not as if they were. Speaking things that are not yet as though they were is my faith in action, and it's creative power. Most people use that in the exact opposite way. This time of year, it's very, very easy to find somebody. All of a sudden, you sneeze 3 times in a row. Maybe you don't wake up feeling your best. And what's the first thing people start doing? Oh, I'm not feeling good. And so they start using their creative power to create an expectation of not being healthy, right? Oh, I'm not feeling good. Oh, I'm not, whatever. And people constantly live how they speak. It's just when we get it right and we start speaking positive, and hey, even though I may not feel my best, hey, I feel great. I feel great. I'm excited. Great things are happening in my life. Great things are happening in my business. I can speak those even after I've had a chargeback, because the things that are seen, the things that I'm experiencing, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. What I know is I'm speaking my future success. That's creating success conscious. So work, speak, pray. I pray over you every day. I pray over every single one of my recruits every single day. But I believe that prayer is powerful. I believe that our ability to pray, whether you believe it or not, it's okay. This is just me. Okay. This is me and my success consciousness. Prayer is powerful. And I know that the reason the enemy tries to keep me from prayer, because I'm telling you, amongst all of the disciplines, things in my life have gotten relatively easy. It's still except for prayer, right? And so prayer is very, very powerful. And prayer in your life and my life, my pastor said this one time, but he said, if you look at prayer as like have you ever made a fire, like a little bonfire, sitting out there roasting some marshmallows, like we got a little fire pit out there, and John and I on cool fall days we'll make a fire and we'll watch football outside. And he said, prayer is a lot like that fire. He said, you just gotta keep it burning. And maybe once you get it lit, maybe it's just adding a log on it, every hour or every 30 minutes or just whatever, but it's just keeping the fire going. Tithing. I believe in what I'm going to talk about today, that the richest man who ever lived talked about the secret to having a prosperous, like you want to be blessed financially. He talks about that, and it's basically honoring the Lord with your first fruits. And so I believe that. You don't have to believe that. I believe that. Okay. So tithing is huge. Fasting, spiritually, fasting. Guys, I think if you just jump on social media, and you're probably you probably can't scroll 2 or 3 minutes without seeing something about the benefits of fasting, right? Fasting is good for you. It's good for your body. Expectation is more of a symptom of all, because when I do all of these things, and these things are active, these disciplines are active in my life, my expectation, I just know good things are happening. Why? Because I've lived a life doing this, and I see the fruit. That harvest produces. Okay. So I'm not caught off guard when success comes. When success starts coming in waves and it starts chasing me down and overtaking my life, right? Versus negative, it doesn't surprise me anymore, because I'm like, I understand that, right? So expectation, drawing my group out. Guys, keeping my group drawn out. I hadn't just cleaned off my desk. There's probably like 30 different pages where I've got teams drawn out, and looking at them and praying over them and thinking about this and that, and what do I need to cover on a Monday or Wednesday that I feel like these people need. Keeping your group drawn out. Your group will speak to you. Drawing out your group, drawing out your goals, drawing out your life. Okay, my kids, they'll probably throw up when they hear me say this, but how many times did I say on a Sunday afternoon, hey, y'all go get a white sheet of paper, okay? We're going to start drawing. We're going to start creating, okay? Creative power. We're going to start creating new activities that are going to be seeds that are going to create new realities in our life, okay? So drawing out my group, and what was the last one? Have I covered everything? Okay. So, but anyway, you guys get the idea. So the secret to success is creating a success consciousness. Okay. Success consciousness is eating, sleeping, breathing it. It's 24/7. Like it's what you do. I'm just going to tell you, it's not that I never took time off, but I'm telling you, my time off did not look like my time off as somebody that lived in faith and lived in success consciousness. It was very different from somebody else's time off. Okay. In my time off, I never took time off of my personal development. Okay. It was life to me. Why would I take time off from life? Maybe I'll relax in my discipline on eating. You could tell by the way I look that I do that pretty often. But I'd rather feel good and look good than I would eat a bunch of crap. Okay. But I do go through seasons, and it's funny because I now have my year timed out perfectly, and I know these are the seasons that I look and feel good, and these are the seasons that I'm eating. I'm satisfying my taste buds, right? And so, and all of that's fine. But I'd rather look and feel good. I'd rather feel good. I love feeling good. I love feeling good in my clothes. Okay. So so I'm not talking about anything from a vain standpoint. Okay. So creating a success consciousness. Best I can tell, that's the secret to success. Okay. So the master key to success, okay, as Napoleon Hill writes it in Master Key to Riches, okay, self-discipline is the master key. Here's the challenge, though. With most people that fail in their New Year's resolutions, they think of self-discipline only from a physical standpoint. That's it. Only from a physical. So the very thing that's an exhaustible resource, the very thing that's going to start dwindling at some point in time, typically it is about a week, 2 weeks. For the strongest among you, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, but it starts to dwindle no matter how strong and no matter how strong your intentions are when you start out. So this master key to riches is self-discipline, but it's more so self-discipline of thought. You know what I just said? So I just tied those two together. Self-discipline of thought is creating the success consciousness. So self-discipline being an exhaustible resource. Okay. What's not an exhaustible resource? What's more permanent? And guys, as I'm drawing this out, I think, so many of the key talks that I give, when I show the opportunity, I talk about temporary versus permanent income, right? When I talk about eternity, I talk about temporary versus permanent. And here in self-discipline versus your subconscious mind, I'm talking about temporary versus permanent. So self-discipline of action that we create consciously, okay, it's temporary. Okay, it's an exhaustible resource, right? But on the other side of that, what's more permanent? What's more permanent is our programming. Okay, so why is it that the Bible says, hey, so you want transformation? What is the key that the Bible talks about transformation? What's the key to transformation? It's renewing your mind. It's self-discipline of thought. It's creating success consciousness, this state of faith. Gosh, I hope this isn't getting too deep for you, because when you learn these truths, I'm telling you, you will be unstoppable. You will live a different life because of that belief system and because of these truths. And so under temporary, you've got self-discipline of action, okay? Under permanent, you've got the programming of your subconscious mind. Okay, now here's the challenge of all challenges. Okay, most of us have been programmed to think in error. Most of us have been programmed to think lies about us versus the truth. That's just fact. Okay. Most of you guys, you're struggling in your life because there are things that you believe about you that somebody has suggested. The art of suggestion. Okay. Somebody has suggested, and you have, because of who they are, maybe it was a parent, maybe it was an aunt, uncle, maybe it was a sibling, maybe it was a little league baseball coach, but it was somebody that you held in high esteem, and they suggested something to you that was not true, but you adopted it as true. Therefore, you believe that you are. So you are there because you believe you are, right? And so transformation for you comes from the renewing of your mind and deciding once and for all that you're going to create a success consciousness. This is basically cleaning up. Okay, I remember when I first got started in this business of self-development, I had somebody tell me, you getting brainwashed. And I remember the first time I heard that, and I was like, isn't that awesome? And they were like, no, man, brainwashing, bad thing. And I went, not for me, it ain't, man. If you knew what I thought about, man, my brain needed washing. Like I thought it was the best thing in the world. Now since then, I understand that people use that term negatively. But I'm just telling you, for me, and I knew where I was in my life. I knew what I thought about. I knew what my goals and dreams were, especially Friday and Saturday nights and things like that. I needed my brain to be washed. I shudder to think what my life would be like had I kept down that path. And so transformation is at the very heart of any New Year's resolution. Any goal that you set, transformation's at the heart of it. And so the promise of transformation, the activity that we engage in is the activity of renewing our brain, or you hear people talk about changing our subconscious, changing the thoughts and changing the pictures that we hold of ourselves. And so when goal setting, and I'm closing down this segment here. So when goal setting to me it is destructive, man. It's like I'm taking the status quo of my life, and I'm gonna identify the status quo. It could be the extra 20, 25 pounds, or it could be relationships, or it could be, it could be health, it could be finances, it could be spiritual growth, whatever it is. But I'm going to write that down. I'm going to target. It can't hide anymore in my life. I'm going to write that. I'm going to target that status quo, that mediocrity in my life. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to blow that sucker up, man. I'm going to blow it up. You know why? Because once I identify it and I write it down, I have the chance to change it. Because, okay, go back to our creative ability. Okay, we're given dominion over. Okay, what have we been given dominion over? So we definitely have dominion over our bodies. Okay, we have dominion over our life. We have the ability to speak and create. Okay, so writing it down, speaking it, people call it positive affirmations, but it's starting to use your mouth to speak the things that you want, things that aren't necessarily true right now, things that aren't necessarily true in the seen right now. They're true, but they're in the unseen. Okay, so the whole art of manifestation is what we're talking about right here, and a self-discipline of thought. Yes, it's self-discipline of action, but realizing that our self-discipline of action, we can start off strong, but the weaker of us in the next 2 or 3 days, you're going to come up against your feelings, okay? How do you know when your self-discipline is starting to wind down? You start not feeling like doing what it is that you've committed to do, right? And so again, some of us have more self-discipline than others, but for the best of us, it's still an exhaustible resource. And so once we get to that place where all of a sudden we don't necessarily feel like doing what we committed to, now is when that thing called character kicks in, and you've decided, hopefully you're deciding right now, that when I stop feeling it, when I stop feeling like doing it, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to be true to myself. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to stay. It's this thing. Character is the thing that's beyond self-discipline. Okay. Listen. If self-discipline was all it took, if physical self-discipline was all it took to create multimillionaires and to create successful lives, to be sure, there'd be a lot more people out there without it. But at some point in time, success, self-discipline is going to wane. And then all of a sudden now your character kicks in. And your character, I'm just telling you, your character is very kin to your subconscious, okay? Taking self-discipline and using it not just simply toward physical activity, going to the gym, eating right, whatever, okay? But it's also speaking, because words are starting to change the picture, okay? Do you guys, okay, very quickly, okay, the power of words, okay? You guys know the power of words. Here's an example, okay? I don't care who you are. I'm getting ready to call you out, okay? Everybody, you at one point in time, probably when you were a kid, you heard yourself tape recorded. Okay, I grew up in the '80s, so it was a machine that, like, you press like 2 buttons at one time and it records. Okay, everybody at some point in time have heard themselves recorded. Okay, what's the first thing that you said or thought when you heard yourself recorded for the first time? What is it? Okay, it's same for everybody. That ain't me. That doesn't sound like me. Is that me? Is that really me? Because it was the first time we ever heard ourselves through our outer ear. When we speak, what we're speaking, these are vibrations. Okay, the only reason you understand what I'm saying, the vibrations coming out of my mouth, the only reason you understand it is because you understand this language that we call English. Right? But all of a sudden, if I start speaking Chinese, most of you guys, you're not going to understand what I'm saying, but it's the same vibration. It has the same creative power. So when we start looking at our words as simply vibration that comes out of our mouth, that vibration, the same as it was with our Creator who spoke the universe, he spoke, and all of a sudden those vibrations are still traveling through creating. So when we start speaking words, we're creating. Powerful. And so when you speak with your mouth, you hear yourself through your inner ear, not your outer ear. So your words have the power to transform, to renew your mind. Your words have more power than anybody else's. So if somebody sat right beside me and started speaking the creative words to me, changing my subconscious mind, it pales in comparison to if I start speaking those words. Okay, so me speaking those words, that is where the power is. And so you've done it. You heard yourself tape recorded. You said the same thing. Is that me? Okay, so it was the first time you ever heard yourself through your outer ear. What we have to understand is that all of this, what we've been given by our Creator, the ability to see, the ability to hear, the ability to speak, smell, taste, these are the things that have transformational power. And so again, I hope that you take that. I hope that truth absolutely settles in your life, because it will make the huge difference. So goal setting is targeting that status quo. So write it down. So you're identifying it. Okay, this is what's most important in my life right now. You're speaking it, the positive affirmations, the words coming in through your inner ear, you're changing pictures, you're starting to visualize and see new realities that are in the unseen. You're seeing them in the unseen, but that's part of the manifestation process to being in the scene. So visualizing it and then doing the work. Doing the work, that is part of it, because when we don't do the work, our if we're lazy and not doing the work, guys, our subconscious is smarter than that. Okay, we can't just sit there and read and speak and visualize and not do any work. And it doing the work is it's like a farmer going out to his fields, not doing any work, not sowing anything. Okay, I'm going to speak this corn and I'm going to have faith. And none of that work. None of that works. Okay, faith without works is dead. Okay, so there is none of this success consciousness, faith without works. Works is a big part of that. But guys, there have been whole religions created based on proper thoughts on works versus improper thoughts. I'll leave it at that. So, but I'm just telling you, work is a huge part of it. So you're 2025 and absolutely ensuring that you're going to be a success. I've just given you, and I feel good about this, I've just given you the very best that I've learned since 1993. I've just given you the best I've learned. So put it in practice. And I'm sure that it will make a huge difference. Okay, so I'm going to transition now to this thing, and this is where I don't want you to be offended, but I'm going to create proper expectations here. Okay, so the question is do you know the industry that you're in? Do you know it? I mean, do you really know it? Okay, so you have the S quadrant and the B quadrant. Okay, so you have people that they think about, all their whole goal is selling life insurance. Okay, these are called personal producers. We love them; they're great. On the flip side of that, you've got people that are driven to this business not by personal production at all. As a matter of fact, personal production is a little bit of a turnoff. It's like, I don't want to be a life insurance salesman, right? But they see this industry as a franchising opportunity, and they go, wait a minute. So like Kroc took a fried hamburger, like DeLuca took a multi-meat sandwich, and like Monahan took a pizza pie called Domino's. Those guys used a system and they branched out and they put people in their own business. They created a network of business owners. They created the type of income that is system driven, not self driven. Personal producers, they create an income that by and large is self driven. It's driven or not driven by them. Distribution builders, B quadrant, they create more of a passive income because they create a business that at some point in time, when you duplicate yourself with leaders, that business continues to function because it's more driven by the system than it is you. That's a picture. As best I can explain this industry, that is the picture of this industry. Now, I'm going to dive in because most of you fall under the column of personal producer. Okay, so I'm going to dive into this thought process that I'm not too sure you really understand. Okay, so beginning with the end in mind, which is good success practice, right? Beginning with the end in mind. Okay, what is the end? What is the end? I had somebody recently, and listen, I'm not picking on this person. I absolutely love this person. Person is a credible leader. But I had a person go, hey, I'd really love to talk to somebody that's a Diamond Elite producer. Okay, so I'm going to ask you guys this question. What's the difference between a Diamond Elite producer and a Silver Elite producer? Okay, By the way, we just had a brand new silver elite producer this morning. As a matter of fact, got the email, Ollie Collins. Congratulations. But what's the difference in a diamond elite producer who is at the top of the recognition scale? Okay, think Deanna Cooper, think Tanya Hughes, think Connor Jones, think Nicole Hansen. Okay, these diamond, Nick Burns, these diamond elite producers. What's the difference in diamond elite producers versus silver elite producers? The difference. See, I think a lot of people think it's salesmanship, and that's not true at all. As a matter of fact, I would bet my bank account that there are more good salespeople that are silver elite or not even silver elite producers versus those at the diamond elite producer levels. Okay, now so if you take all of those diamond elite producers that I just mentioned, okay, do you want to know the difference between a silver elite producer and a diamond elite producer? It is this. Write this down. This is going to be huge for your 2025. Okay, the only difference silver elite producer versus a diamond elite producer is the amount of money they invest in leads. That's it. That's the only difference. You cannot show me at Equus Financial, you cannot show me a diamond elite producer that does not invest a minimum of $2,500 a week in A leads. Okay. Now, there are some people that hear that and they gasp. Oh my God, $2,500 a week. Listen, the reason you gasp is because you're not there yet. It's okay. You're just getting started. We love you. We're going to walk with you. But you got to understand what this business is. I still think there are people out there that think that you could get to the level of diamond elite producer and spend $300 a week on leads. It's not going to happen. Because you don't have a proper understanding of what a lead is. What is a lead? What is a lead? Do you know what a lead is? A lead is a close ratio. That's one definition of a lead. It's a close ratio. Now, I know that several years ago I said the definition of a lead is a name and its contact number and it's a reason to call them. Okay, that's still at play. Okay, I'll never not say that's true. But to go a little bit deeper, you guys have to understand that leads are close ratios. So as a personal producer, you get a certain amount of leads every week, and those leads they're a type of lead. Okay, if you're getting A leads, a close ratio. If you're getting non-A leads, if you're getting aged leads called inventory leads, there's a close ratio. You distribution builders out there, there's a certain number of leads that are distributed every week in your organization. If you want to increase the number of applications that your team is doing, you need to get the right amount of leads injected into your organization. Guys, this is simple. This is like Barry Clarkson 101. Okay? I mean, this is it. This is as simple as this business gets. But for some of you, I don't think it's simple at all. I think that you still have a very different view of what this business is. When you look on the top, when you look at okay, so let's talk about leads for a second, okay? There are people, believe this or not, but there are people out there that spend more time trying to figure out how to create good leads for no money. Good luck. Any lead that's created, okay, I want you to think about the difference between a direct mail lead and a digital lead, okay? So a direct mail lead that has a cost of about $80 a lead versus a digital lead, which has a cost, a brand new digital lead probably has a cost of what? $15? So what's the difference in a $70 or $80 lead versus a $15? Both of them are A leads. Okay. It's how they were created. So one was created by taking a letter, putting it in an envelope, mailing it to a new homeowner or somebody that just refinanced. But then they have to go to the mailbox, get it out. They have to then open up a letter that they're not sure who it's from. I don't know how many of y'all actually do that. I don't do that. Okay, if I don't know who's from, it goes to the trash can, right? But they have to open it up. They read it. They see, mortgage protection. This is for our mortgage. And hey, honey, what do you think? Do you want to? So they fill out their personal information. There are certain people, certain amount of people that are willing to fill out their personal information. There's a certain amount of people that aren't. I'm not. Okay, but I'm just talking about how is this lead created and why does it cost $80 versus a click and a point and click. I'm on the internet. I see this. Okay, whatever. It looks. Let me click on that. And what do I got to do? I got to answer a couple of questions there. Boom, boom. Click on that. And now I keep scrolling. Okay, probably 3 minutes later, I don't even hardly remember doing that. Okay. So when I call the $15 digital lead, there's a close ratio to that. There's a certain amount of people that are going to say yes. Remember doing that? Yes, I'm willing to set up an appointment. Okay, but you can see, and it's not a stretch to see why the $70, $75, $80 mail lead has a higher close ratio. And guys, this is so basic, but you got to understand it. You got to understand that there guys, when you're looking at the world of creating leads, okay, it's like in distribution building, kind of the art of stupidity is people try to get all the time. People try to get the wrong people to do the right things, right? People try to get the wrong people to do the right things. Distribution builders, they're suckers at that. Okay, they will try every single week to get the wrong people, the same people that haven't done anything, but they'll try to get the wrong people to do the right things. Doesn't work. Okay. In the S quadrant side, there are people that think that they can create a lead that has a close ratio like a direct mail, but do it and that costs a digital. You can't do it. Guys, you're in creating leads. Here's why you can't do it. Okay, I feel like I need to explain this to you. The reason you can't do it is because lead creation is human nature. There are a certain amount of people in our country that will be the type of people that will create a lead. And then there's a certain amount of people there are a certain amount of people, I don't care how interested they are in life insurance, they're not going to click the ad on social media. I don't care how interested they are in mortgage protection, they're not filling out that form. Matter of fact, most of them aren't even opening up that letter. They're just not that type of people. So I don't care how you think you're going to outsmart the system. Creating leads is always creating a name and a contact number and a reason to call them via people that are willing to answer however you're trying to create it. Okay, it just is what it is. Okay, that's and so guys, I'm just thinking that if you can start off with the proper expectation, then you'll understand why we teach the things that we teach. So one of the things that I'll bring up is the whole getting started process. Now, I'm not saying that this is mandated in the Cornerstone group. No, absolutely not. Matt Rutledge could have his way of getting people started. Claudia Matthew could have her way. Johnny could have his. Casey could have his. But here's what I know. If you're getting started in the lead-driven life insurance industry, if you're getting started with an organization like Cornerstone or Equus or Integrity Marketing Group, okay? You're either starting out with funds, with money, and you can quickly start investing into leads with a higher close ratio. And Business 101, Business 101 is what? It's simply how much do you spend on marketing versus how much revenue comes in. Isn't that right? So as a 1099 business owner, how much do you expect to net on your revenue? So these Diamond Elite producers that are spending $2,500, $3,000 a week, but they're making on average 10, 12, 15,000. So what are they netting? Versus what? Versus people that are spending $1,000 a week, but maybe they're writing 4 or 5,000. So how much are they netting? Or even people that don't have any money at all and they're maybe spending $200 or $300 a week, and they live in Suckville because there's such wild emotional swings on ebb and flows when you're only spending $200 or $300 a week in inventory leads. Oh my gosh! So if you're getting started and you have no money, is it a turnoff to you that we tell you that you need to go to your warm market? I believe, and I'll go to my grave believing this. Everybody, what time is it? Everybody in their warm market, in your warm market, unless you're just like, I don't know how else to say this without it being offensive, but unless you're just not a likable person, unless people just don't like you for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe you've lived your life horribly up till now, okay? Okay, your past doesn't equal your future. You can change it. Okay, but if you've lived a certain way in your past where you have nobody that'll answer the phone for you, man, you got a tough road to hoe. Don't mean you can't hoe it. Don't mean you can't work it, but you got a tough road to hoe. Country way of saying you're going to have a tougher that. But most people in their warm market, I think most people, they have about $5,000 to $7,000 in commissions that they can put in their bank account if they'll go work their warm market with their growing up line. Take your growing up line, talk to them about how they want you to work it, but you going and working your warm market on basic, I'm not talking about debt elimination right now. I'm not talking about annuities right now. I'm talking about basic life insurance with living benefits. Simplified issue, not fully underwritten crap. Simplified issue where I'm going to get paid a good commission. Okay, simplified issue where I'm going to get paid a good commission within 2 to 3 days of me writing the policy. Okay, not these fully underwritten crap that probably is not going to get issued. And if it gets issued, I'm going to get paid crap on it, and it's probably not going to come in for 3 or 4 months. Okay, and I'm talking about simplified issue business with your warm market. I think most people could put 5,000 to 7,000 minimum in your bank account. What would that $5,000 to $7,000 of cushion mean to you? For most people, it would allow them time to learn how to make a call, set an appointment, set enough appointments to actually have people show up and to start getting traction in the lead-driven sales industry. Okay? I also believe that most people in their warm market, in addition to the 5 to 7, 8, 9, 10 applications that they could write, I think most people in their warm market, you can get your team growing because I think that there are probably 5 to 7 minimum, 5 to 7 people that you know that would like to do this at least part-time. Okay. But you have to introduce the idea to them. You have to share the opportunity with them. By the way, let me remind you, every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, especially going through this first quarter 2025, I'm going to do an opportunity overview, and it's going to be live. Pretty much, I'll be the one doing them. I'm probably going to have some times where I'll have somebody else step in. But just for this first quarter, I want to get started on Tuesday nights. I want that to be an opportunity that you can suggest to somebody that you have an opportunity for them, and then there's a time that they can plug in. Now, we will be creating links. So you would be very smart, instead of waiting, if it's Wednesday or Thursday, instead of waiting till next Tuesday, go ahead and send them a link of one of my past opportunity overviews, and say, hey, here's the opportunity. Listen to it. And if they're interested, maybe re-plug them in for the next Tuesday night. Plug them in live, okay? Because I'll be doing these live. Okay. I hope that makes sense. So getting started, when we talk warm market, guys, we're not talking about it from a network marketing standpoint. We've got leads. We're sold out the leads. Most of us are lead junkies, okay? I mean, that's what leads that they do. But if you can't invest enough money to create the closing ratios you need to create profitability, it's not going to work out well for you. It has nothing to do with your salesmanship. That's the whole thing about leads. It's not sales, it's closing ratios. You can take somebody that's struggling, spending $200-300 a week on H leads, and you can have that person with minimal knowledge. If they could trade places with Deanna Cooper for 1 week, you go and you work Deanna's leads and let Deanna work your leads. What's going to happen? Deanna's going to very quickly start living in Suttonville, and you're going to very quickly start being recognized on the leaderboard. Why? Because the number of leads create the number of appointments. The number of appointments create the number of buyers. It doesn't get any more truthful. Our industry, and guys, I'm not saying that all of this is good stuff. I'm saying that this is the truth about our industry, and you've got to learn to love it. You've got to learn to work within the close ratios. Okay. I never spent $2,500 a week on leads. You know why? Because I didn't do virtual sales. Face to face. I spent $500 to $700 a week, and I drove around in my car in a 3 to 4, 4.5, 5-hour radius of my house. I did that for 4 days a week. What do you want to do? Most people want to work virtual. Most people don't like the closing ratios on virtual, but they certainly want to work it. It's like the whole human nature thing that I talked about a while ago. Most distribution builders try to get the wrong people to do the right things. That's human nature, okay? Most salespeople, most lead vendors, okay, not the successful lead vendors, they abide by the laws, okay? But you get some agents that think that I can create a close ratio of a direct mail lead, but I can create it to cost like a digital lead. I can take a narrow gate lead and I can sell it like a wide gate. Doesn't happen. It'll never happen. It'll never happen. Why? Because you're working against the laws of human nature. Okay, you just are. Okay. And then most salespeople think it's salesmanship. And so they think they can spend $300 a week on leads, but compete with a Deanna Cooper. Won't ever happen. Won't ever happen. Does that mean that you've got to work leads? Does that mean that you can't work $300 a week and make a good living, especially if you really dive into the art of getting referrals and things like that? Absolutely. I believe that there's a pathway out there for you if you choose to do that, okay? But I just wanted to take a few minutes today to talk about those things. Okay, now this is my close. Okay, and the only reason I'm doing this is because we're 2025 kickoff. Okay, this was in Proverbs 3 this morning. Proverbs chapter 3. The richest man who ever lived, King Solomon. Okay. Just listen. Just listen. Okay. Do not forget my law. Let your heart keep my commands. Okay. What's the result of that? Okay. Length of days and long life. Length of days and long life is not the same thing. Do you understand what length of days is? How many of you guys live your life and you never have time to you always are rushed. You never have more, you never get done what you need to get done. Length of days is that picture where your days are long enough and they're restful. You get your work done and there's peace. So length of days, long life, and peace. Okay. Don't let mercy and truth get away from you. Why? Because with mercy and truth always being a part of you, you then get favor and high esteem from God and man. So favor from God. Do you want do you want to live in favor with God? Okay, there it is right there. Do you want to live in high esteem of man? Do you want people to think well of you? There you go. Trust in the Lord completely. Don't trust your own understanding. Why? Because there's things that we don't know. There's things that we don't have the ability to see. But we trust in the Lord all of our heart, okay? We acknowledge him in all of our ways 24/7. And what's the result of that? He shall direct our paths, okay? Never think of yourself as smart or wise. Always fear the Lord. Don't hang around evil. Get away from evil people. And what's the result of that? You'll be healthy and strong. Honor the Lord. I talked about this a while ago. Honor the Lord with what you have, with what you own. Give of your first and best. What's the byproduct of that? Okay. You'll live in abundance. Okay. Don't hate correction from the Lord. Okay. Why? Because the Lord loves the people and delights in the people that he corrects. So are you being corrected? Good. He loves you and he's delighting in you. No matter how you feel, no matter how you feel like you've messed things up, okay? He loves you and he delights in you, okay? Happy is the man who finds wisdom and gains understanding. So wisdom is fear of the Lord, and understanding is knowledge of the Creator. Okay, what's the byproduct of that? Okay, it's better than silver, gold, rubies, and anything you have the ability to desire. Guys, I'm telling you, that one thing right there is so powerful. Length of days, riches and honor, pleasantness, peace, a tree of life, happy. Those are the things, those are the promises, those are the things that come, the byproducts of those who come, of people that live in fear of the Lord and gain knowledge of God. Okay. The Lord used wisdom as a master craftsman in creating the earth and the heavens. Okay. Keep wisdom and discretion. Discretion is so key there. Why? Because they are life to your soul and grace to your neck. You will walk safely. How many of you guys just want to, like, you walk safely, you won't stumble, and your sleep will be sweet? How many people you talk about just sleeping peacefully and sweet. That's the prescription right there. Don't be afraid of sudden terror. Okay, I'm speaking to you guys now because some of y'all stay glued to that daggum TV set. Y'all see things like New Orleans and these things. And listen, I'm not saying they're not bad, and we pray for all of the victims and the first responders and all these things. But don't be afraid of sudden terror nor trouble when it comes. Why? Because your confidence is in God. I'm just telling you that there's a big truth in there for some of y'all, okay? Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due. Devise evil against your neighbor. Strive with someone without a cause. Do not envy people, envy evil people, because those people make the Lord sick. Okay, his secret counsel. That's a good club to be a part of. His secret counsel is with those who do good. So the curse of the Lord or blessings you choose. Do you want to live in the curses or do you want to live in the blessings? That's all what Proverbs 3 is about God gives grace. What is grace? Grace is power. God gives grace to the humble. Okay, so a lot of people look at humility as being weak. God gives incredible grace, strength, power to people who choose to live in humility. And the wise shall inherit glory. I don't know what glory means to you. It could mean a lot of different things, but I'd rather have it than not have it, right? Because what you then have, you can then give away. Okay, so this has been my 2025 kickoff. Thank you guys for being. It's been a good hour, right? Thank you guys for being on here. I hope that it makes all the difference. Okay, for some of y'all, listen. 2 hours from now, you won't remember any of this. You'll not go back and listen to it again. It's all that, but maybe for a certain segment of you, what we talked about today really hits home as far as giving you direction and giving you a how do I create goals, and what are the steps I need to take in order to make sure that I'm going to reach them. Okay, so for a segment of you, hopefully that's what today's call is all about. So God bless the Cornerstone Group. Love y'all. Bye bye.